Have you ever noticed how every time you try to change your life, you tell yourself, this time I'm doing it right? You set the plan, the workout, the diet, the morning routine, and you tell yourself, this time, no more mistakes. Everything lines up perfectly. The timing, the meals, the motivation, and you tell yourself, this time, this time's gonna be different. But then something happens. You get one slip up, you miss one cold shower, you skip a meal, you don't do a single workout, and now you find yourself in a downward spiral. You start thinking to yourself, wow, I did it again. I messed up. Maybe I'll never get this right. Before you know it, you've gone from chasing progress to drowning in self hate. I used to be in the same exact cycle for years, but eventually it hit me. It's not failure that ruins us, but it's perfection. Because perfection kills progress. Perfection is an illusion. Failure is inevitable. Years ago, when I was deep in the self development rabbit hole, I used to binge pretty much every motivational video I could find. David Goggins, Jordan Peterson, Patrick Bet Davidson, Master Shihan Yi, John Butler, all types of various motivational and inspirational speakers. I would watch these great men and women and think, these are the greats. This is who I need to be like. And without realizing it, I built this image in my head that in order to become my best self, I had to become perfect. Goggins never skips a day. Master Shi Hung Yi spent his first 18 years of his life dedicated to his craft. And John Butler meditated every day for decades without fail. These were the patterns I saw. No mistakes, no breaks, no weaknesses. So in order to be like them, I had to be perfect, just like them. Every time I gained that motivation, every time I got that feeling of this time I'm ready energy, I would begin to build the perfect version of myself. I'd make meal plans, spreadsheets, I would schedule my workouts, line up my morning down to the minute, meditate, work out, train, eat clean, sleep right, all gas, no breaks. And for the first few weeks, maybe even a couple months, I would think to myself, this is it. This is the version of me I've been chasing. But then I'd skip one thing, one tiny thing. Maybe I skip a workout. Maybe I take a warm shower instead of a cold one. And suddenly my brain would go, see, you failed again. You did it again, and maybe, just maybe, you're not like them. This one crack in my armor, the chink in my ego was all it took for the whole wall to crumble. Because when you build your identity on being perfect, the moment that imperfection shows up, you feel worthless. You don't see it as a small mistake, but you see it as a reflection of who you are. So I'd spiral. One missed cold shower would turn into a week of junk food. One workout missed would turn into hours and hours of video games. My calendar would begin to collect dust. My healthy food would literally start to mold. And I'd begin to sit there thinking, what happened to me? Where did I go wrong? And then eventually, after enough time of wallowing away, the guilt would hit me. Then appears that voice in my head, that panicked voice thinking to myself, I can't live like this anymore. After weeks of wallowing away in self-pity, I eventually would get the urge to fix it. And guess what I'd do? I start all over again. A new plan, a tighter system, a stricter routine. And this time, I'm gonna get it right. And the cycle continues over and over. For me personally, I probably went through this cycle a dozen times. Until one day something clicked. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. I began to ask myself the right questions, and I received the right answers. I eventually realized that it wasn't that I lacked discipline. I wasn't a lazy person. It's not that I didn't want it enough or I hadn't gone through enough trauma to push me into growth. It's because my expectations were killing me. I expected every day to go perfectly. I expected my emotions to always be balanced, and I expected myself to never fail again. That's not discipline, that's delusion. Remember what I told you in the beginning of the video. Perfection is simply an illusion. Failure is inevitable. Perfection is fragile. It's a glass castle built on fear, and the moment something hits it, it shatters. And here's the crazy part. Your subconscious knows. It likes to keep score. It knows when your words and your actions don't match. It's like a spiritual alarm system. When you fall off track, it's not trying to destroy you. It's just trying to warn you. But the problem is, with most of us, and definitely what I was doing, is when that alarm system goes off, we panic. We say, oh my God, I messed up. I've done it again. And the self sabotage begins. We feed the fire with guilt until it burns everything we built. But that alarm wasn't meant to shame you, it was meant to guide you back. Your consciousness is what does the shaming, and that is within your control. Once I figured this out, everything changed. Instead of freaking out, I started listening. And instead of judging myself, I started observing. When I slipped up, I would say, oh, that wasn't too beneficial. What did it cost me? And instead of saying I'll never be enough, I would just say, huh, that didn't feel good. Next time, I'll do better. That's when I realized that growth is not about never making mistakes, but it's about what you do after those mistakes. When you calmly analyze your behavior, instead of judging yourself, you stop reacting and you start responding. This gives you power. Over time, this builds real self trust. Because now, when I make a mistake, maybe I skip a workout or overindulge in video games, I don't spiral downwards. I simply check in with myself. I'll ask myself questions like, how did that make me feel? And do I want to feel that same way again tomorrow? When I answer honestly, the fog clears and the correction happens naturally. No guilt, no punishment, just awareness about the benefits and the negatives of each and every one of my actions. Ironically, that was when I began to feel something close to perfection. Not because I was flawless, but because I was finally in flow with myself. If I smoke weed and it throws me off, okay, lesson learned. If I play too many video games, okay, lesson learned. If I skip a workout or have a cheat meal, okay, lesson learned. And consequently, now I do these actions less than I ever did when I was trying to be perfect. I no longer need extensive workout plans, spreadsheets, and a full calendar. I just go with the flow and understand that the only thing I really need is honesty. Once I learned to see mistakes as teachers instead of enemies, life got a lot more peaceful. Not easy, but peaceful. Because now I can pretty much do whatever I want and keep growing. But I know that what I want is what's best for myself. If something feels wrong, I adjust it. And if something feels right, I'll amplify it. And little by little, this becomes balance. The balance between discipline and freedom, between structure and flow, between self improvement and self enjoyment. This balance that I found was the real perfection I had been chasing all along. So if you're watching this and you're still stuck in that perfection loop of doom, thinking you have to get it right every time, stop. You're not broken. You're just trying to be flawless in a world that's meant for failure and growth. You're supposed to fail and you're supposed to stumble. This is the only way your awareness expands and you begin to grow as a human. The real mistake isn't messing up, but it's letting your guilt convince you that you're not worth fighting for. So let yourself be human and let yourself learn. And remember this, that you're not supposed to be perfect. You just need to be aware. And that is where the real growth begins. When you find your balance, you create true, long lasting progress. Once you accept that, your life will begin to feel perfect. Not because everything goes right, but because you found balance between who you are now and who you're becoming. That's real growth. That's real freedom. And that's the version of perfection that actually lasts. All right, guys, I really appreciate you watching the video all the way through, and I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and definitely hope that you were able to extract some valuable information from it. If you guys do like content like this, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps me out. I'm a new channel, and I will be coming out with more valuable information every day of October. If you guys did find value in the video, go ahead and like and leave a comment to let me know what I'm doing right and let me know what I'm doing wrong as well. I do appreciate any feedback you guys give. God bless and good luck. And then it was all like, love, create, serve. And then you was all like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then I was all like, all right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I really appreciate you guys.